Right, Dave, let's check if we're live. Let's have a look. Where's the chat?
I'm getting more comments coming up.
Yeah, comments coming in. Well, we're live now. Let's have a look. Let's check you on the Facebook page. If you're joining us, let's have a little look. Hopefully this is all working smoothly. Usually it's
there we go.
fires away.
I got us.
Nice. We're live. Great stuff. Here we go. How are you, everyone? Who is it then? Who we got? So Lorraine, actually, you came on just before. That's weird. Not seen that before. But yeah, I hope you're well. Lorraine, I'm from the UK, but currently tuning in for my holiday in Tallinn, Estonia. Nice.
I've been to Tallinn.
Have you? Any good?
Yeah, no, it's really nice. The old town was really nice. It was like kind of nice and old.
Nice and old.
The one thing I did do was I went on like a brewery tour in Tallinn, which wasn't that great because it was a place that made Tuborg, so not the most exotic. But the old town was really nice. I spent most of my time in the old town. It was really good. Tuborg,
links me back. I'm trying to segue back into Nepal.
Yeah,
but they do Tuborg in Nepal. Yeah, part of the beer options. Anyway, hey everyone, I hope all is well. Thanks for joining us on the Tuesday Tune. I'm just seeing, wow, is a lot of newbies on the Tuesday Tune, which is great. Welcome.
Yeah. Claire Dukes has finally been able to join us.
Hey, great stuff. Hey, Claire, how are you?
Yeah.
I hope all is well. Who else have we got on the live then? If you have joined us, just give us a hello or where you're from or what you're doing. Maybe you're working, maybe lunchtime, maybe you're in Tallinn, in Estonia.
That was kind of like, do you remember, was it Surprise or Blind Date? Hello, number one. Tell us who you are and where you come from.
We got Sophie from our Hereford office. Great to have Sophie on, and we got Anthony Christian, who's usually first to comment anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for joining us. Obviously today, a couple of biggies. We'll be announcing the winner of the Everest Base Camp competition, which is fantastic, and it's been an amazing competition actually. I think.
Yeah, really good.
We had. Just in terms of popularity, we had over 18,000 entries, which is bonkers, really. And yeah, I think it was 18.3. So yeah, firstly, thanks for everyone that shared it, especially our existing Evertrekkers, but our community on Facebook here as well, and as well as everyone else that shared it. I know people have been doing it on WhatsApp and email and all that stuff. But yeah, thank you so much for getting involved. Obviously we've done this a few times in terms of offering some free running these competitions. Probably I think we did our first one early 2018, and they've always been a good buzz around them, and people that then go on the trips as part of it and seeing how it can change people's lives in the positive. It's fantastic. So yeah, thanks for being involved. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk a little bit about the trip, about Nepal, which is where we started. So Evertrek was started actually back of a trip I made to Everest Base Camp in 2016, and actually came back, and one of my friends, Dave, actually was the first Evertrekker to actually book in, which is nuts back in that day.
Customer zero is where it all started. I started this pandemic of trips around the world, although we don't use the P word anymore, do we? I started this epidemic of what's the difference between a pandemic and an epidemic? I think one worldwide.
I don't know. I'm sure there's some scientists.
Yeah. Welcome to today's live, all about the difference between. But no, yeah, it's amazing. It's probably one of my favorite ever lives that we do every time is when we actually we announce the winner of the competition, because we've been on this cycle long enough now that we've actually started the comp, announced the winner. The winner's gone on the trip, and then we've managed to speak to them and catch up with them afterwards.
Exactly.
I've actually been to Everest Base Camp with two winners.
Of course.
Yeah, that was Darren and Kate.
Oh, brilliant.
And I know the impact that it has on people, and it's one of those amazing things that I see, and what's amazing is I see loads of internet giveaways and stuff like that, and I always think, but this is genuinely one that'll blow your mind and make a difference.
There we go. Andrew Rooks has given you the
while an epidemic is large, it is also generally contained or expected to spread was pandemics international out of control. Andrew Rooks is either very, very up to date on what's the word? Germs.
Yeah.
Or he's very quick to Wikipedia.
Viruses.
Either way, I'm going to give him the credit and say thank you, mate. That is perfect.
Thank you so much. We got Paul Shearer. How you doing? All the way from Scotland. Hope all is well, mate. Long time no see. Hope to see you in, was it June or July for the Glencoe Challenge? I know we got spurred on it again, so absolutely fantastic. But yeah, we will be. We got Trey from Wales. Great stuff. Nice to see
Wales.
some local.
Oh, wow.
I know it's dark and dingy outside, but hopefully we're trying to bring some light to everyone on this Tuesday afternoon. To any first timers as well, just to let you know, we've been running these Tuesday tune-in Q&As really, which is, I know we're doing the winner announcement today, but we do these every week. Unless we're away on holiday or any
most
crazy
weeks.
most weeks. And essentially, we started these back in actually March 2020. So during that fun time, we started doing these lives just to kind of keep in touch with our community, and we've kept them going. Can't believe almost 4 years now since we started doing it. So we're here every week, and if you do have questions about anything, and obviously we've had quite a lot of entries, so there's going to be one winner who gets to choose someone to go with them. But we're back here every week. If you do have any questions about any of these trips, maybe it's piqued your interest, no pun intended, but around Everest Base Camp or maybe one of the other trips that we do, and we're here every week to answer your questions on that. So
come back and be a regular.
Yeah, be a regular. Why not?
Yeah.
But yeah, just to start then, Dave. I mean, Nepal. I mean, what does Nepal quite mean to you?
It's got an odd-shaped flag, but no, Nepal is probably whenever anyone says, and we are so fortunate to have traveled and done tons of the adventures that we provide.
Yeah.
But if someone always asks me on the phone like, "Oh, what's your favorite?" I always say my very first trip to Everest Base Camp. There's a reason I've done Everest Base Camp 4 times and I haven't done another trip that many.
Yeah,
it's because I get something new out of it every single time I go. It's so rich in culture and landscape and every single thing that you can conceivably enrich yourself with. It's there in Nepal, and you'll never forget the first time that you see the highest point on Earth, because if you go to Everest Base Camp, you're going to see Mount Everest.
Yeah.
And I just remember the first time I ever went there was with a mate of mine, Billy. And we were walking up to Namche, and it's quite rarely I've since realized to get this perfect view, because the trees need to be a way that you can see, but it's almost like framed, like there's this picture and it's like a hole in the trees, and right through that hole is Mount Everest.
Awesome.
And I didn't expect to see it. I remember sitting there having a chocolate bar, and the guy says, "Oh, do you want to see Everest?"
Just randomly, just casually.
There was almost a moment where I didn't want to turn around. I was like, "Oh wow, like this is definitely a moment where I thought, like, I've never seen Mount Everest. I've never laid eyes on the highest point on the Earth before, and I'm about to turn around and see it." Awesome. So it was like Christmas. It was like, well, more like Christmas Eve. That feeling of anticipation that something amazing is going to happen.
I'm liking Peter Redmore's question, just because it's in capitals, just to get our attention, Pete, right? No, great. And anyone that does have a question, do drop it in the comments. Or I know we've had heaps in my email. We want to make sure we get those answered today. We'll be doing majority of those after the winner announcement. Hopefully some of you stay on after. But yeah, so we can answer that question for you, Pete. No worries, and drop any in, and we'll do our best to get them all answered for you. Sorry, Dave.
I forgot where I was. I don't know where I was.
The picture of Everest. First time you've seen it, Billy.
Yeah, but what was I getting to? No,
Namche, and then he met the two.
No, it was good. It was that feeling of having done something for the first time, and that sense of amazing achievement was something that I think I had every day when I was there. That like something new had happened. I'd seen something I'd never seen before. Had an amazing experience.
Some good questions as well. I think just while Dave is talking about this, because I think that was a specific question about what you were saying then, was it as bigger than you thought it'd be, in terms of visually, when you've seen it?
Not really. Not really. I mean, it's strange because Everest is quite far away.
Yeah.
So when you see it, it doesn't appear as big as sort of some of the giants that you're right up next to.
It's true, isn't it? It does because of the gauge of it.
So it's more like it's just fascinating to see, because you can see the summit and you can see the spindrift and the snow coming off the top of the summit.
Yeah.
And then to think that there was a time when no one had ever stepped foot on that point, and that is the highest point on Earth, and
magic.
But actually, in terms of that sort of feeling you get from walking amongst giants, probably Ama Dablam gives you the best sense of that, because it's really close. And when you're on the Pangboche Trail, which you start when you sort of leave Namche, Ama Dablam's like right there in front of you the whole time. And it kind of keeps you company for a couple of days, you know, and it's great. And you kind of walk around it, and you can actually, if you're there at the right time, you can see climbers on it and stuff like that. So, yeah, amazing.
Magic. Yeah, it is such a wonderful trip. I mean, it's, you know, we're talking like this, you know, it is a challenge. It is hard. You can't get around that, but you're in the right place. I think a lot of you, I know it's a competition, you've got involved, which is awesome, but, you know, you're in the right place. You like to do these things. You know, going to Everest Base Camp is hard. The first time I went there, which was during winter of 2016 in the January, it was like -25 at base camp. It was I probably had a couple, definitely a few kilos more than I got now at the time I got there. So I was exhausted when I got to Everest Base Camp, but you know, and it was really emotional getting there, and because of all the work they got into it. And obviously, it's not just there, is it? All the training, the preparation, all the equipment. You know, obviously it costs money to go to these places. Unless you win, of course. And you know, all that kind of builds up, and you know, Dave knows I'm a bit of a softie anyway. So when I got to base camp, you know, there were tears. It was just like, wow, this is amazing. And I've been privileged to go back there, you know, 5 times now over the years, and it's absolutely fantastic. And you know, in our Evertrekker community, a lot of people are actually on here as well. You know, have also been to Everest Base Camp, and I know that sometimes that kind of ignites something. It's like, oh, wow, that was so cool. Maybe you want to go back to Nepal. Maybe you want to go to one of our other trips, like Kilimanjaro, Map Toubkal in Morocco, or you've got Machu Picchu, you know, K2 base camp, that epic. Yeah. There's a lot of adventure out there. And I know we're focusing on Everest Base Camp here in Nepal, because that's what it's about today. But I think it's just wonderful to be in that kind of arena of adventure. You know, and you're certainly in the right place for that. Yeah. Well, Dave, look, I know usually what we got, about another 10, maybe another 10 minutes before we announce the winner. So do hold on. Get your phones ready as well. Something we've done over the last kind of 6 months when we did this the first time is that we actually do call the winner. So we do have their number, and we're going to be calling them. Calling you, hopefully. So keep your phones at the ready before we announce it. Yeah, there we go.
Exactly, and then you'll change your life. And
exactly.
Yeah, just you know, there's so many comments coming through. I am trying to catch them all. Yeah. As much as I can. One that someone said there. Basically, a comment. He loves the idea of Carl Phillips. I like the idea of a mountain keeping you company. He's touched on something there, which I think I always feel when I am in the Himalaya. Yeah, is there's never this sense of you know, that you're just sort of in an empty, barren, remote area. You are in an incredibly remote area. There's no roads or anything like that. You either get somewhere by, you know, walking, running, back of an animal or helicopter. That's it. But I tell you what, I'm not particularly like a big spiritual guy. I don't walk around in awe of everything. But when I was there, I'd never been so profoundly sort of impacted by sort of nature and landscape as I was when I was in Nepal. And it is amazing. It's a big, when you see these mountains and, you know, you see Everest, Lhotse, Ama Dablam, you know, you'll look, when you get to sort of the high points, you know, you can see, you know, several 8,000ers, you know, you can see Choi Oyu and a few other peaks. And you just think like the history that has taken place on those peaks, you know, the trials, tribulations, life and death and adventure. And also they're so big and vast that you just, I don't know, you can't help but feel like there's some you know, like energy coming off it. But again, like you kind of get what you bring to these things. You know, some people, they love the exhilaration and the dare and do of reaching the summit. And I love all of that sort of stuff. But I think the best moments are when you sort of sit back and you relax and you get a little quiet moment on your own and you just sort of sit there and you just think, yeah, it's quality. You know?
It is good. It is. Sorry, I was literally having loads of messages in on WhatsApp as well. So I was just going through them just to make sure. And I think what we'll do is, because we've got about 10 minutes anyway, Dave, I know normally we could go into all the trip. I know if you've been in the competition, we would have had some of our walkthrough emails. And I know there's a number of them, but I wanted really people to get a feel for the trip. And I hope that gave you, you know, there's some videos there, there's some images. And I wanted to write about the experience that we've had literally thousands of Evertrekkers on that journey. So I hope you enjoyed that. But we'll answer some questions, I think, just for 10 minutes, and then we'll announce the winners.
I think there's so many. I think we'll cover a lot. We'll cover a lot talking about Nepal if we answer the questions. I think. Yeah. So
definitely. Right, Dave, go for it.
I'll say the first one that we've had in today was from Denise Sargent. It says, "How does it compare to Kilimanjaro? I'm thinking maybe tougher because of the cold."
Good question.
Well, actually, Kilimanjaro and sort of trekking to Everest Base Camp are a little bit like incomparable. It's sort of apples and oranges. Actually, the time I went to Kili, it was really cold on top. It was sort of like -20 in February.
It was cold, wasn't it?
It was really, really cold. Nepal, I'd say the biggest difference regarding the two is that Kilimanjaro, when you're on it, you definitely have a feeling that you are climbing a mountain and you're working towards a single goal, which is standing upon the summit.
Yeah.
When you trek into Everest Base Camp, because you're not starting at the bottom of a hill and walking up to the top, you're traveling through villages and landscapes. It feels more of a trekking adventure. And sure, reaching base camp is the culmination, but you know, I've known people that for whatever reason have stopped short of base camp and come back and said, I still feel like I've had the full experience, because base camp is just an X on a map that gives us a convenient excuse to trek for 11 days through the Himalaya. If you trek for 9 days through the Himalaya, you're not any less richer for having done it in terms of the experience. So I would think, if I was looking at the two, do I want to get that feeling of sort of like achieving a summit, getting the certificate and that type of reward, or do I want to do more of a trek and a hike and something more experiential, if that's a word?
Exactly. And sorry, I know where we've got a bit on. I think, Christopher, please don't keep us in suspense. I have to go and bring a patient to theatre. Jeez. Well, look, obviously you can catch us on record, and I know even if you don't pick up, by the way, just let you know, we will get in touch after.
Yeah.
We won't call the next person. We decided on that.
The winner's the winner.
But look, if you've got to go to theatre, Christopher, it's all good, mate. It's all good. Someone actually, a really good question by email. This is from Annabelle. I think if Everest, Kilimanjaro, and Machu Picchu were characters in a movie, what Marvel Cinematic Universe character would they be and why? So I wanted to.
I have.
And I know you're not. So I'll probably take this one.
Yeah, I've seen Iron Man 1. I've seen, and no other. So I just don't know.
So I'll quickly. I think Everest Base Camp is probably Iron Man, because it's probably the famous. Kilimanjaro, I'd say, is this Hulk. It's a big peak. Machu Picchu, I'd say, because of the history, it's probably Doctor Strange. There we go. Just random. I don't know. I suppose why? Why Doctor Strange? Well, because he's all about. He's got a lot of history. He's got the time stone. Kilimanjaro and the Hulk, just because Kilimanjaro is this massive volcano that you are literally on and trying to scale. So sorry, I thought that was a really good question. Here we go. Nicola Jameson. Hi, Andy and Dave. Brand new summit zoners. Awesome. Absolutely great. We're first ascent planned in Tukal in August. Fantastic. Just wondering if you give us some advice on where our training should be 6 months before. Obviously, they're doing Tukal. Any tips on return to exercise? Excited to be part of the Evertrek community. Looking forward to getting Kili and Everest Base Camp booked over the next few years. Nick and Keith. I love that. The Restless Yeti and Machete Yeti. I love that.
Machete Yeti. That's pretty good.
Well, he clearly cuts it. Sorry, couldn't resist.
No, that's fine.
Right, but no, training is a biggie. I know there's a bunch of questions on training here. I mean, just as an aside, when you do book with us, you do get access to some of the guides. You do have the planners as well, which do have training plans in there. Also, as well, all of our Evertrekkers get access to some of our partnership discounts and access to some of our partners, and one of them is the Altitude Center. Now, in the members area, when you book a trip, and if you win it, obviously you get access to this as well, is that you get access to their team. So you basically get like a training plan from them. So if you submit it, it goes to the Altitude Center and they'll get back in touch. They do like a consultation essentially. Obviously, if you do any work with them, that costs, but it's just as an intro. Really, and the Altitude Center are great. We've worked with them for a number of years now. Some of our clients and some of our Evertrekkers, they do use their equipment as well from the altitude chambers and things like that. They're really good. But training, with places like Everest Base Camp, Tukal, Kili, none of these are like technical peaks. We do have some that are a bit more technical, but these, it's only walking. So being as fit as you can is always going to benefit you. But the most important thing really is acclimatizing. These are all, you know, we call not extreme altitude, but the oxygen deprived environment. And, you know, most of them are touching, you know, 5,000 meters or above, especially Kili is almost 6,000 meters. So, you know, the better shape you're in, you're going to enjoy it more.
Yeah.
You know, we've had people turn up and they haven't done much training at all. And in truth, they struggled. But some of them got there. You know, some of them got to base camp. Like I mentioned about the first time I went to base camp, I wasn't in a good shape. You know, but I got there, but it was hard. So any of these, you know, the fitter you are, the better you can do, the better the more you enjoy it, essentially.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I know that's kind of a broader statement, but yeah, for exact stuff, we do have a lot of articles as well around training in our knowledge center. Have a little look there, Nick, and yeah, we'll definitely help you prepare for Toubkal and the adventures after.
Awesome. Alice Philpott has asked some actually really good questions.
Yeah.
Not that I was doubting Alice, but I'm just saying they're good. So I'm so excited. So am I. And here are some questions for you about the trip. What kind of physical preparation would you recommend? So yeah, just touching again on what Andy sort of said. I think, you know, what you're going to be doing on an Everest Base Camp trek is walking. So the best sort of training that you can do is to get out there in the mountains and get what we would call mountain fit. So strength and endurance in your legs, work on some cardio, and then pretty much you're most of the way there. Anything then you can do to kind of be, you know, fitter, stronger, that really does sort of help.
Yeah.
We've done entire lives on training. So what I'd highly recommend you do is jump onto YouTube and have a look back. You'll find a much broader explanation.
Yeah.
How do you support sustainable tourism practices? So on Everest Base Camp, I think we were the first UK company to sort of introduce water purifiers on our treks, which for almost all the days except one, maybe two, means that you don't have to buy sort of bottled water and introduce single-use plastics to the environment. So that's one other big thing. We've also got various partners like Mossy Earth, that do carbon offset and rewilding and intelligent rewilding, you know, in terms of, you know, where they do it, what species of trees are introduced. They're very scientific, but we work with those guys as well to make sure that you know, we understand we're flying people to far-flung regions of the world, but we want to make sure that we're looking after the world.
Nice.
And is there any customs or etiquette we should be aware of when interacting with the local communities during the trek? Personally, I think in Nepal, they're very polite and really friendly people. If you're polite and friendly, then that's pretty much all you've got to worry about. There's no major faux pas or anything that you're going to trip over as long as you're being polite and friendly. You know, it's not like one of these strict countries where there are certain things you have to cover up or whatever. You can kind of dress like a trekker, be like a trekker, be friendly, nice and approachable, and that's all you need to do.
Lovely. Bunch of questions on equipment as well. One from Jamie, actually, Jamie Sharpley. What are the most suitable jackets for outdoor walking, mountaineering? Jamie, I mean, there's so many jackets out there, aren't there? You know, down jackets, waterproofs. You know, you got wind stoppers. You know, I mean, I suppose this is like a mid layer really, but there's so many out there. And if you go to a place like Everest Base Camp, you do get free hire of a down jacket for the trekking part. If you're doing any sort of mountaineering peaks, that's more technical. That's different. You'd have to either hire that or purchase one of those yourself. But you know, they've got to be pretty lofty. Anything kind of 700 fill onwards. You know, you do get some people that, you know, if you run hot in your body, like Dave. You know, like I run colder than Dave. So Dave doesn't need as many layers as me, as an example.
No, got them built in. But
you know, it's just depends. Like if you feel the cold, you're going to need a lofty one. You know, there's heaps out there. You know, you've got Rab, you know, you've got Jotnar, you've got other ones like Berghaus, you've got Montaigne. You've got so many different makes. You've got North Face. Obviously, on the trekking part, like I said, you can use ours, and obviously they're suitable for purpose then for the trekking, because a lot about weather as well. I know that. I think this was different about weather, but I think it was Nigel Hawkes was saying, do an EBC in March. Awesome, not long. I'm not sure about weather. Will I encounter snow? What is the average group size? So things around weather as well, and especially March, definitely colder. You're just coming out of winter, so there is a chance of snow, definitely in March. There's a chance of snow anytime, because you're so high up that obviously if it's below zero and there's precipitation, it's going to snow. Not always though. In April and May, generally it's the best conditions, because that's when climbers are looking to summit Everest. So base camp is a hive of activity. It's like a mini village. It's like a city, really. All the tents and everything that are there.
Yeah.
But that's because that's for better weather windows. So, generally you get some good weather. If you're going in the autumn, again, you're coming out of summer. So you can imagine then through the summer, it's too wet. We don't run trips then. And then September, it's quite warm. October, warm, getting cold. Then as you creep towards the winter again, it does get cold, and it's the Himalayas. Anytime you're in the Himalayas, the mountains, it could be cold anytime, especially in the nights. So we always recommend taking a down jacket, whatever time of year you're going. Average group size. Depends on the specific trips, but EBC, normally for us it's between 10 to 15 people, depending. Obviously, that's sometimes a little bit smaller. Sometimes, especially over the last COVID years, we've we've had that kind of a backlog of people, so we've put like 2 groups at the same time. So it's a bit obviously separate groups, but they're trekking along at the same time with their own guides. And you've got they are a little bit larger than that, but generally from now on, you're looking up to 15, and that's nice. That's not too big. That's nice enough that you've got a small team, you can work together, and you get to know everyone a bit better too.
Yeah.
Good questions though. Yeah.
Kathy Finkel has asked, what's the eldest person you've ever taken to EBC? And I know there was some discussion in the group about that. Someone asked, sorry, I've forgotten your name, but some gentleman asked, is he, I think he was in his 50s. Is he too old? Absolutely not. So I think the oldest person we've taken is around 74, something Alan, like that, or possibly Dave Ballmer. Yeah. So I actually tracked there with the Dave.
It's not Jerome.
No. Yeah. So no, you're totally fine in terms of that aspect. I mean, I think the oldest person to summit Everest was like in his 80s. I'll have to check whether he made it down. But anyway, he definitely got to base camp if he started. Honestly, I don't think age is really a factor in terms of how old you are. I think it's just if it all depends on the individual. If you're a regular walker and you enjoy the hills and stuff like that, then you've got every chance of being able to get to base camp, the same as everyone else. Someone just asked about the youngest we've taken to EBC. I think she was around 14.
She was, 14.
Yeah, so with the younger one that's where it gets a little bit more tricky, is because not all kids are sort of equal in terms of their ability. Growing people at different rates and stuff like that. What we always say is you have to obviously go with a parent if you're going to be a teenager or under 18, and it all depends on their ability to be able to communicate and understand what they're getting involved in. So we wouldn't want to take someone that was so young that they wouldn't be able to explain if they were suffering from altitude sickness or stuff like that. But
great stuff. I'll do a few more questions. I think then we're thanks to everyone that's holding on and listening to some of the answers we got for these questions. We'll be doing a bunch after as well, because there's heaps here. And keep them coming, by the way. Because these are great, and hopefully they might kind of answer some of your kind of things that are on your mind. And sometimes that can be around fitness, the equipment. We get, obviously, age is a biggie. People that might they go in solo. There's some questions, anything around that. Definitely let us know. Obviously, Sam Dunmore asked about, do you recommend spring or autumn best time? Anytime you go to Everest Base Camp is amazing. I mean, it's in the spring, you do see base camp how it is when you see it on the TV with all the climbers there. The autumn, there's no tents, there's no camping, unless there's the odd expedition going on. Sometimes I was there once September in North Face. We're doing a skiing film down Lhotse, which is the mountain next to Everest. So in the autumn. But you do get more festivals, so Kathmandu is quite cool in the autumn, and plus as well in November, it's very usually I've been to Everest Base Camp a couple of times in November, and the clear skies, you see the Milky Way. You tend to get clearer skies as well during the day, so weather might be a bit better. It's colder, it depends really. Whatever's easiest for you. I've been in the spring is quite flowery as well. You can imagine all the you've got the rhododendrons, you've got the blossoms, it's very pretty. But anytime you go, you'll have a great time. Sorry, David.
That's all right.
What about Sean's one? Is the landing takeoff at Lukla as terrifying as it seems?
I don't think so. I mean, it's got this reputation as the most dangerous airport in the world. I'm not sure if that's warranted. Probably. I think the planes are relatively it's one of them, but it's the environment that makes it dangerous. Sort of you're in you know, but I've flown in and out of there sort of 8 times now. And actually, I would rather be on a plane than a helicopter. You know, helicopters, I mean, first time I ever got in one, I don't know if you've ever been in sort of an older Land Rover Defender. Yeah. It's kind of like that, but really loud and high in the sky. Planes feel far more civilized, but no, I don't think it's as frightening. I think if you're terrified of flying, you know, it's probably not going to help. But I think, to me, I think it's quite exhilarating. It's quite interesting. It's definitely a tick off the bucket list. And actually, to my uncle, when I went and did EBC, I think it was in October 2019. My uncle came with us, but he wasn't trekking. He just flew into Lukla and back out again just because he wanted the experience. So certainly for some people, it's an amazing day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't think it's that scary.
No, it's like anything, isn't it? It's part of the challenge, part of the adventure. When you land, it's pretty cool. I think it's had a lot of bad rep because, you know, historically it used to be a lot worse because they used to try and land in bad weather. It's not allowed now.
Yeah.
Any bad weather, you know, and which does cause different issues. But you know, you've got to kind of wait till it's clear. Amy, are there any pubs want to go 40 of? Yes, there are. There's plenty. You get the world's highest Irish bar, which is in Namche.
Yep.
Little village called Namche Bazaar. It's probably the largest village in the region. And obviously, there's no roads. Everything's carried up. But yeah, they do serve some Guinness in there. Yeah, and it's fantastic. We've had plenty of good night there. Is even, I think there's an Irish bar and a Scottish bar in Lukla as well on the way back, so it's always a good laugh.
Yeah,
plenty in Kathmandu. I think
people are getting a bit itchy.
I know, we definitely need to do it, and let's do it. Let's I think we've got to call the person now. Yeah. Hopefully they answer.
Are you gonna? Do you
want me to do it?
Yeah, go on. You dial.
I have got the number here. Right. So what we're gonna do is I'll get ready. So I know this is really tense now, isn't it? People will be like, right, it's next to the phone. So good luck.
How do we do it? Do we announce the winner?
No.
We call
first.
And
then we'll bring in we've got a little graphic that comes up. So you'll see the name of the person who won. But just before we do, just want to say thank you so much to everyone. It's been an amazing few weeks since we've launched this. You know, thanks for sharing it and being part of it. I know there's been a lot of activity and positivity around it in the community. You know, obviously, you know, if you're not the winner, you know, we'd love to help you out as part of the journey. We do have some runner-up prizes as well, so do keep a lookout in your emails after the live. Obviously, I know if you've joined our email list, you know, we'll be getting in contact.
Yeah.
You know, if you're on the runner-up list. So yeah, definitely. So do keep a lookout. But right, let's give this person a call.
I thought you were going to say, right, let's give.
No. I'm just, I'm remembering the name.
Because me and Andy we did a quiz once. Do you remember? When
I remember
we were quiz
this,
masters.
I do remember, yeah.
And I don't think we're ever going to get hired again because I'm pretty certain.
We didn't do a great job.
I think we gave away the answer to about 5 questions.
We did.
Just during the chats in between the questions. I distinctly remember Fee, the Bimblin Yeti that used to work with us, just shaking her head on camera like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, we clearly, you know, let's stick to what we do, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't quit the day job, she told us. Anyway, right, here we go. Let's give the person a call and let's see if they answer. Hopefully, let's have a look. Okay, I'm just gonna copy. Here we go. Right, everyone's like,
we're well prepped.
Check.
Well prepped. We've said this from the very first one. We never let professionalism get in the way of a good show. You know, sometimes we run in and Zach's there going, "Get in the room, you got 2 minutes."
Right, here we go.
Right.
Let's put it on. It's on loudspeaker, so hopefully you'll be able to hear as well. Oh, it's
ringing. Should we move it closer?
It's ringing. Tense. It's going to be...
Welcome to the O2 messaging service. The person you are
Should we leave a message?
I think.
No, I think we'll try one more time.
Should we try? We'll try one more, and if not, then we'll
announce it on here anyway.
We'll announce it on here.
It's funny, isn't it? But right, here we go. You've dialed the wrong. Everyone's like,
yeah,
mine didn't ring. Hey, you never know. You never know. You've dialed the wrong number. That's so funny. Right, we're going to do it again, okay? Fingers crossed. And look, if obviously not, then we'll announce it on here anyway. I kind of want to leave one of those voice messages, you know, but I think let's go one more time.
Oh, it's like a weird double
I
ring
know.
then.
Oh, I think you might.
Welcome to the O2 messaging service.
Okay, never mind.
This is the great thing about doing it live.
This is the great thing. I think we're just going to have to announce the winner on here,
Yes.
and then we'll do it the old-fashioned
We'll
way.
do it the old-fashioned way. But look, thanks everyone of this. We'll go off for about 10 seconds. There'll be a little graphic coming on for the winner. So good luck again. Here we go. Let's have a look at this one. Here we go. But they will. Now they will.
Rebecca.
Rebecca Megal. Huge congratulations. Obviously on winning. Chance to go to Everest Base Camp. I'm not sure if you're on the live. Obviously, maybe you would have been on the live if we were calling you. But maybe you're seeing this after, maybe when it's not live. But congratulations anyway. We'll obviously get in touch with Rebecca off the back of this. But yeah, thanks so much. Is she on the live?
This is good. And Jezza said, how depressing is that? My phone rang.
Oh,
but
no.
It was the delivery driver of my new car. Hang on a minute.
Sorry.
There's no way we ruin new car day. I'm not having that. That's so bad. I'm so sorry. But new car day is really exciting.
I mean, that's not a bad second, right? Or first. But no, anyway, let's have a look. Is she on here now? Maybe she'll join, but if not,
congratulations, Rebecca. You're on your way to Everest Base Camp. You're going to have an amazing experience. Yeah. And thanks to everyone else that joined in. And
exactly.
Great
stuff. Right, we're going to tackle all those questions because there was a lot more questions. As I said, we do have some runner-up prizes for anyone else other than Rebecca. After the live, you should be getting those. So well done. Like I said, thanks for being an awesome part of it. But let's answer some questions. Anyone that does have any further questions, do drop them in. I know we've still got a heat on here.
Yeah, so I've got one from Julie McConnell says, our flights in December going straight from Kathmandu. I'll be honest, Julie, I'm going to answer that one, but that wasn't the one I was intending to read out. It was the one above. Our flights in December going straight from Kathmandu. So that's Kathmandu to Lukla, I'm assuming. Almost certainly they'll probably be from Ramachap. So Ramachap is the airport that the government of Nepal is now probably going to work to channel in a lot, if not all, of the EPC traffic to. The reason is because Kathmandu International Airport is not a big airport, and in order to manage the flight paths and things like that, they're probably going to move it. The one I was going to ask was from Adam, who said, any recommendations on footwear, guys? It feels like a minefield out there in this particular area. It is a minefield, Adam. I think the best thing that you can possibly do is be as picky as you need to be and seek expert advice from the people you're buying it from. Try lots of pairs on, walk around the shop for as long as possible. I even know people that buy them, wear them around the house with the tags on, for a little bit, and then providing there's no sort of dodgy blisters and things, that would be it. But it really, don't compromise on fit. Get the best ones that you can possibly do. Really think about putting insoles in as well.
Point out, I think that's my sister. I think maybe Rebecca is Jessica's sister.
Jessica, congratulations. I think
hopefully she'll take you then, Jessica.
So I was going to say you might be going with Rebecca, but do us a favor, give her a nudge. And oh, that's amazing. I think having Jessica Ward on here is the next best thing.
That's amazing. No, Jessica, well done. We'll try and get hold of your sister. I rang her. So did we. But hey, she doesn't pick up our calls. No, I appreciate it's during the day. Not everyone is can obviously. Sorry, I'm just seeing some other comment there.
No, why do we delete the comment?
I know.
Don't have access. Don't have
I feel like she's calling me back.
Okay, do it.
Here we go. Hello, is that Rebecca? Oh, hi. How are you? Sorry, it's Andy and Dave here from Evertrek. How's it going?
Yeah, just to let you know that Jessica's actually stolen the prize, I'm afraid. Sorry.
I think your sister, is it Jessica, who's on the live? She said she's taking the prize instead. I'm sorry.
But just to let you know, Yeah, so congratulations, Rebecca. You are on your way to Everest Base Camp.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Thank you so much. I can't believe that I've never won anything.
Oh, no
Well,
worries.
everyone says that, but
I
now
know.
you are a winner and you've won the biggest prize possibly imaginable.
That's incredible. I hope I won it. Sorry, I couldn't answer your phone call. I'm at work at the moment. Thank you so much.
That's
No,
okay.
fine. No worries. Sorry to disturb you during the day, but look, I know. Yeah, it sounds like you're busy, but anyway, we'll be in touch after the live. Drop you a little email about next steps.
Oh, thank you so much. I can't scream because I work in an operating theatre.
Oh, geez. Oh.
Yeah. Don't scream. Don't drop your phone anywhere you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
And yeah, but we'll be in touch, Rebecca. And yeah, awesome. Congratulations.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
No worries.
worries.
Congratulations. We'll chat again.
Bye.
See you,
Thank
mate.
you, bye.
Bye.
Oh, that's
awesome.
amazing.
Awesome.
I'm glad. There you go, Jessica. You're not
Thanks,
allowed to
Jessica.
steal it. She got it. But that's amazing. I'm so proud of her. Oh, she works in a ward as well.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
amazing.
I know she
So she's saving lives and has now been rewarded for that
there we
sacrifice.
go. Good karma. There.
That's good karma. I am so pleased. That's amazing.
Exactly. Sorry, I know it was a little bit quiet there, guys. I put it on max. I was trying to get it close to the as close as I can. I know it was. We'll hopefully get a replay of that from our wonderful Zach a bit later. But no, fantastic. Finally, yeah, we got hold of Rebecca.
I love the idea that she's there in a ward while some sort of operations happen, and she's going, yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Hey, what was forceps? Yeah. You know. So.
I know, that's nuts, isn't it? That's nuts. Here we go. Well, look, we got some questions as well. We're still talking about Nepal here, which is great. Here we go. I've got some good questions here. I think there's obviously a lot on training. Actually, Alex, good question. Actually, Alex Aluvi, hopefully still on the live. Have you trekked in the Scottish Hills? How do they compare for training for Everest Base Camp? Yeah. So Everest Base Camp, in terms of the route, it's just walking. There's no climbing involved. You do go up some steep banks, especially after reaching Everest Base Camp, you get the opportunity the morning after to go up Kalapatar. Which is a little hill. It's still over 5,500 meters. So, it's from a breathing point of view, it's hard work, but it's the best place to see the summit of Everest. When you're at Everest Base Camp, because you've got these big mountains ahead of you, you can't always see the summit. You can see the edge of Everest, but Kalapatar is the best to see the summit.
Yeah. Especially
in the morning, you can imagine. The sun is rising and you've got the light on the peak there. It's really magical. It's fantastic. But going back to your question though, in terms of trekking the Scottish Hills, I know Dave's half Scottish, lived there for a number of years, and I've spent a lot of time up there, especially on the Munros. It's fantastic and it's good training. Some of it actually is probably harder than what you're going to do.
We're there today.
But it's just the altitude that makes the trek difficult.
Yeah, some of the fittest people I know are like, if you class yourself as a fit Scottish hill walker, then I reckon you're pretty much fit enough to do anything in the world because those guys, it's the bogs, man.
Yeah. Cheers, Jessica. I'm off, guys. Thank you so much.
She's got to call them. Amazing. Awesome. Carlos Pinto has asked, what will happen if someone in the group cannot continue the trek? Can the rest of the group continue with the journey? I'm going to answer that, and I'm also going to double answer it with another question, which was someone said, what's the success rate? So the success rate for us with EBC is sort of 95% and above. But that's sort of a broad average. There are a lot of trips that go where 100% of everyone in the group makes EBC. But of course, there are occasions where it can be due to altitude. It can be slips, trips and falls. You can pull a muscle. It can be little tummy bugs. All the normal stuff that you can get while traveling can potentially affect you. But honestly, it doesn't really affect the group as a whole. So we always equip our groups with enough guides, assistant guides and porters to look after everyone as an individual. So sometimes what can happen is that someone might decide say you get close to Everest Base Camp, but for whatever reason you can't make the final stretch, you can just kind of hang back and let the group go, and then they'll come and catch up again. Or you might decide that the best thing to do is to turn around and walk back. Or in the very sort of, rare instance, you can join what we call Chopper Club. which is if you have to get down in an emergency, our guides will arrange a sort of helicopter that will come and get you.
Yeah.
It all seems very dramatic when you say you'll get a helicopter, because we're used to mountain rescue in the UK.
Yeah,
helicopters up there are like taxis. It's sort of the equivalent of saying, do you know what, I can't be asked with the second half of this trip. All right, yeah, taxi, yeah, take me home. You know.
Yeah.
But honestly, again, almost always everyone gets to Everest Base Camp, so the success rate is
very
good,
high,
and you can be really confident going into the trip that you are going to make it.
Exactly, yeah. And the itinerary is you've got acclimatization stops in there, you know, active days. But they're built in there just to let you acclimatize. And as Dave said, things happen. You know, we could probably count on both hands over the years how many getting people out of there we've had to do serious occasions. But obviously it's bad luck. Normally though, if you do the tried and tested, you know, when it comes to acclimatizing, you know, go in slow, drinking plenty of water, you know, enjoying yourself, having a good time, trying to keep a positive mindset, because it can be hard. You know, any challenge when you go in, when it's physically hard, sometimes it can, you know, you can feel a bit down about it, but just try and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Andrew Williams, actually, I know this, we've got some others on here, but he's mentioned about asthma. I have mild asthma. Would that be a problem? I'm pretty fit otherwise, lots of miles per week cycling. Yeah, honestly, Andrew, I've got asthma myself. It was one of the reasons I went to Everest Base Camp, actually, because I wanted to kind of prove it to myself that I'd be okay. You know, and it's managed now. It was worse, you know, I'd say over COVID years, after getting COVID, but it's managed. But yeah, it's definitely something that was on my mind of the question. So, and knowing actually a lot of Evertrekkers who are asthmatic and going up there and being fine, for some reason, you know, maybe because we're used to breathing in less as it is, it's kind of beneficial. There's some science behind it. There is a blog actually that one of our Yetis has put in there about trekking to Everest Base Camp with asthma. Gives you a lot more information. We've done lives like this particular Tuesday tune-in. That's always the entire live was about asthma. So yeah. I highly recommend you check that out. But honestly, it's as long as you're fit, as long as you can acclimatize, you know, it's not a big problem. So definitely, you know, yeah, you'll be fine. Just go up there, make sure you know there's a couple of basics. You know, have your any medication with you for your asthma. So as long as it's controlled at sea level, you can control it at altitude. I'd say wear a buff as well, especially if like dust and allergies is something that triggers your asthma. That can help. Just because you're walking on trails and there's a lot of dust, and there's donkeys and, you know, yaks going past you, trekkers, you know, so keep your buff on and you'll be fine.
Yep. Good stuff. Daryl Godden has said, follow-up question to the footwear queue.
Yeah.
Got a B2 and a mid less stiff boot due to distance. Should the B2 stay at home, or would you appreciate the stiffness due to the terrain? I think for Everest Base Camp, I would go with the sort of the mid-height, less stiff boot. That's generally what I trek in.
Yeah.
If I'm going to base camp, something like that. I think a really good boot I've used for a number of years was the Maindel Bhutan. I've now switched to a different one, a non-leather boot, the Maindel Antello or something like that. Yeah. It's a non-rated, general purpose, more flexible hiking boot. You don't need anything as stiff as a B2 for Everest Base Camp or anything like that. B2s, I would say, sort of if you're doing like Mount Toubkal in Morocco during winter, potentially there are some peaks as well that you would use that for. But yeah, general trekking purposes, no, you don't need it.
Nice. Yeah, and again, we probably got about another 10 minutes, but we'll try and smash through these as best we can. I know someone said around basic fitness levels, talked about fitness there. In terms of what, here we go. Can you get a bus or taxi instead of flying? Honestly, Alan, yeah, when it comes to going to Everest Base Camp, because of its location, it's really remote. You know, there's no roads there. You could, I mean, essentially, we've had some challenges in the past where it's been really severe bad weather for a long time. You can imagine you've got trekkers coming, bad weather, no flights for days. You know, we were trying to be creative about how we get there. And essentially, we've had to, you know, use minibus, jeeps, get to a location and then still hike for a couple of days just to get to the start of the trek.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is possible, but it's quite challenging, and we do it in very, very, very rare occasions. Most of the time, I mean, we in worst case scenario, I think it was actually back in 2019 or 2020, in the earlier months. Actually, no, it was 21. Sorry. And there was someone actually where they had to be back for a flight, so they couldn't do it. So they actually went and did another trip in Nepal at that time. They came back and did Everest Base Camp.
Yeah,
but
they went at Annapurna.
Annapurna region, because you can drive there to the start of Annapurna. So Nepal. I know we're talking about Everest Base Camp here. Annapurna region's just as amazing. I know it hasn't got the history, but it's just as beautiful. The Annapurna region.
Yeah.
And then we also do the Langtang trip as well. The Langtang, and I'm not sure if you saw the a documentary on Netflix called Aftershock. It's a bit about Langtang area there during the earthquake several years ago, and that's a really good trek. Not as popular as I say as the Everest region or the Annapurna region, but it's actually the closest one to Kathmandu, so you can drive there, do a 7-day trek, and you're back in Kathmandu then. Wonderful place to trek to. So yeah, we've got a trip to Langtang going in March actually. Which we're really looking forward to seeing some pictures of. But some really, really great questions there.
Got a question from Peter, and I think he sent it in as well.
Hey Peter.
I've seen it. So about contact lenses on summit morning, what's the issues with frozen lenses? Thank you. With regards to sort of Everest Base Camp, because we're not sort of, we go to Everest Base Camp, but it's not necessarily heading towards a summit, although certainly it can be below freezing. I've never heard any reports of them sort of freezing. Definitely not when they're in your eyes anyway. No. I think, I'm not entirely sure whether you keeping them too warm or too cold, but generally speaking, if you've got like a down jacket or something like that, put them in a inside pocket. That's more than enough then to stop that solution from freezing. Overnight as well. If you leave something like out, so if say you were in the lodge at Gorakshep just after base camp, that's probably the coldest night you'll experience. If you leave a bottle of water out, certainly then it can freeze. But if you put that same bottle of water sort of in your bag, it probably won't. That's literally the only difference. So I would say with your little contact lenses, keep them in a pocket. That's all you need to do. I have never heard of anyone having the issue with them freezing and stuff like that. I guess worst case scenario, like anything, bring a set of glasses with you. Just in case you lose them or you drop one, because if you do drop one, you're probably not going to want to pick it up off the floor out there and put it back in your eye. So bring these as a sort of safety net. I mean, you know this, but freezing is not an issue.
And also as well, we've had a lot of Evertrekkers who have, and just about even one of my friends, Spud, who I saw on the weekend for the rugby. He's Scottish, so he was quite happy at the end, obviously with Wales losing. But he used contact lenses and on Everest Base Camp as well. I think Peter might be doing Island Peak.
Does he wear glasses?
He does. Exactly. Never. But on Island Peak, obviously it is a bit more, colder. So again, as Dave said, they try and find an opportunity so they don't freeze. But also as well, it might be worth in our group, the high altitude Evertrekkers, there might be other Evertrekkers who have, because I don't wear glasses or anything myself, but it might be worth chucking a question in the group. And people who have had similar scenarios and see maybe that they got a couple of nuances that work for them. As Dave said, a couple of basic things there just to kind of try and protect it and keep it as warm as you can. But while you're wearing them, I think in terms of how they work, they got a very, very low freezing temperature. I mean, obviously, the higher you go, it does get very, very cold. So definitely, take that into account. I think Dave, what you said there about the glasses is a cracking shout. If possible. There's it's definitely a good question though. Good question, because you want to be able to see.
Melissa Street, what about bladder packs? Do they freeze? Certainly do.
Hey Melissa.
So you can get insulated packs that go around the whole water bladder and the tube as well. I'll be honest with you, they're not foolproof because the ice crystals can form in the mouthpiece, and then even if it's liquid behind that, you ain't going to get it through the crystals. It's a nightmare. So generally speaking, if I know the temperature is going to be really cold, and you kind of do, and the day sort of waking up early to go to base camp or summit of Kili or Tupkal in winter, I'll more than likely now just fill up my water bottle and then put that in the middle of my backpack, and then that will stay liquid. And even then, if my tube does freeze, in the dark, by the time the sun comes up and things start thawing, I've got that bottle of water to get me through. So it's about sort of just having these small contingencies and stuff like that. But the guides will also give you that sort of advice. So generally speaking, before you sort of set off, the guides will warn you about this type of thing and to bring a bottle of water with you and stuff like that, or like a flask or something.
Exactly. Yeah, it's definitely one of the challenges. I mean, geez, the amount of times, yeah, it's been nuts. You've been on a mountain, and you go to drink and it's frozen. You're like, oh man, it's definitely part of the challenge. So it can happen, definitely.
I carried 3 kilos of frozen.
What,
Tupcal, yeah, because that was a stupid, complacent mistake, which was I knew it was going to be really cold.
Yeah.
But I don't know why. I just filled my bladder up and just set off and didn't think about it. And I know why, because I didn't make it the first time I tried.
Yeah.
So I was so focused on the summit that normal things like checking my gear over and thinking logically went out the window.
It can happen though, can't it? It's part of it.
It froze within an hour. And then I had no water then all the way up to the summit and back down. It was a nightmare. So lesson learned.
Great stuff. Right, a couple more questions and I think we're almost done there. Really good ones as well around, I think it's from Charlotte. Do you guys have any tips for someone absolutely no experience but wants to get into trekking, basic level, to be able to go to Everest Base Camp or K2 in the future? So essentially, when we talk about trekking, it is just walking. There are, we do run the summit trips, we got some trips to Island Peak, Mera Peak. We got an expedition on Aconcagua in Argentina at the moment. All of our trips are on the website in terms of all of the ones that we do, and we are doing some more this year as well. Naturally, we started in Nepal. That's where our kind of heart is. That's where we started Everest Base Camp, obviously where the name comes from. And then we kind of went from there. We had Evertrekkers coming back going, what else do you do? Do you do Kili or Machu Picchu? And, we've really tried to make those trips just as awesome. So we do other trips as well. But when it comes to experience on it, as long as you're getting out there and you can walk, say Everest Base Camp here, if you can walk for say 6 to 8 hours a day, and have a basic level of fitness and you're healthy, you're going to be okay. Like I said earlier on the live, the more you do, the easier it will be for you. But naturally, we have had people turn up. They haven't done hardly any training, and they've battled and battled. I remember, actually, this is on Kili, but one of our friends, James, came along, and admittedly, he had a 3-week photo shoot in Las Vegas, and then he turned up on Kili, and we got to the summit. I think he struggled.
I was going to say, I think he wished he'd done a little bit of training.
He does, he does, yeah.
But funny enough, we had another question here, and Julie, I've answered this one. Julie McConnell. How much training required for EBC? Would 8 miles per day be enough for 9 consecutive days?
Oof, that's good.
I would say
you can do that.
I would say if you can do that, you're in a pretty good place.
Yeah, strong.
But more so than just sort of, because what you might be able to do, and I just want to double check, is that you can wake up completely unfit, roll off the sofa, force yourself to do that, and then sign up to EBC. You could probably battle through.
Yeah.
I'd be more inclined to say that it's about, you don't necessarily have to train 8 miles a day for 9 days, but if you can get to a point where you can do that relatively easily,
great,
then that's what you need to be able to do. So because we do 11 days of trekking when we go to Everest Base Camp, miles is a bit misleading at altitude. We think of it more in hours, because it takes you a lot longer to walk a mile at sea level altitude than it does at sea level. So generally between 5 to sort of 10 hours a day you'll be hiking. But I think if you are that fit that you could do 8 miles a day for 9 days, you are fit enough to be able to do EBC.
Exactly. Awesome. Yeah. Well, look, I think we'll finish up there. Thanks so much for joining today. If this is your first one, as I said earlier on, we do this every week. We take on different subjects. Some of it, I know we've talked about loads of different things today. But, just an example, we talked about asthma earlier. We've done lives all about asthma. We've done lives all about boots. We even had one about socks once. We really go into detail sometimes.
Short live, that one.
That was a short live.
Make sure you wear some. See you next week, guys.
Exactly. So we do talk about broad subjects. And thanks so much. Obviously, I know all of our regulars on here as well. Great to see you all on the live. I know a lot of people obviously off the back of the competition. But we'll be back next week. As I mentioned earlier on, if you have entered the competition and you haven't won, just check your email inboxes over the next coming hours and days. Might be something in there for you. Any final thoughts, Dave?
No, that's it. Again, guys, thank you so much for hanging around till the end if you did. And also, if this is your first Tuesday tune-in, we do them every Tuesday. It would be great, if a few of you came back and sort of kept chatting to us about this, because we really are running out of people to talk to about this. Like the Tuesday tune-in is my only opportunity to sort of talk about boots without people walking away from me. So yeah, please do come back and keep us engaged, because we really love doing these, especially the winner announcements. But yeah, back to normal service will resume next Tuesday. We'll be dropping some bombs.
Great stuff. All right, take it easy. Have an amazing week, whatever you're up to, and into the weekend. But any questions about anything at all, do reach out to any of us in the team. Obviously, if you're on the website, obviously you've got the chat on there. Do drop us an email, info@evertrek.co.uk, or drop in the group on the page, wherever you see us. Message us on Facebook. Any of the questions, we're here to make these adventures happen for you.
Yeah.
And sometimes the hardest step is the first one. So yeah, just drop us a message and we'll try and help as best we can.
Awesome. And yeah, thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Julie.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mason. And anyone who I haven't scrolled down.
And Andrew Scott's laughing.
Right. Jerome,
nice,
Nigel.
Andrew.
Yeah. Thank you very much, guys. And we'll see you next Tuesday. Whoa.
Oh.
We'll see you on the next Tuesday. Tune in.
See you guys. Bye.
See you guys. Bye.